HDSLRShooter's back-to-back coverage of NAB 2013, featuring interviews you can use about the products you need for HDSLR production. Sponsored by Adobe, Adamus, Asden, Blackmagic Design, Carl Zeiss, LensBaby, Manios Digital and Film, and Red Rock Micro.
Hi, Clint with HDSLRShooter, and I'm here with Mitch Wood of Adobe, who's going to talk to us a little bit about what they've been up to and what we can expect to see in the latest version of Premiere. So, Mitch, what have you guys been up to?
Well, we've actually been up to a lot. We've added a lot of great new features, a lot of great new workflows, a lot of new integrations with the existing Adobe products, and integrations with some new Adobe products. So, would you like me to just run over a few of those with you?
Yeah.
Okay, so probably my favorite new features are the editing finesse features, which are the features that we got when we would go out and we would talk to our customers. So we'd get the same story over and over again, which is, so we really love your products, love them, but there's this thing that Final Cut does that we'd really like it if you could do that. Or Avid has this great little thing that they do, and it would make my life so much easier if you could add that. So we compiled a big list of those things, and we've been slowly adding those into the product, and we've gotten a large portion of them. Now, there are always more that we'd like to add, and I've been having discussions with customers here at the show going, hey, you forgot this one. It's like, so making a new list for next time. But we've added a lot of new things, like, and they're simple things. Most of them are simple, but there's probably 40 or 50 of them. So things like join through edits, things like show repeat frames, things that will just make the editor's life a little simpler. Being able to nudge a clip up a track, down a track, all with just a single keystroke. We've redesigned the timeline to make it easier for the editor to use. We've changed the way that the effects badging shows, the way that the transitions show, the way that the clips are showing when you're selecting them on the timeline, things that just make them stand out, make it easier for an editor to be creative instead of having to worry about the technical side. For broadcasters, we've added closed captioning support. You can now do closed captioning directly within the application. So you can select the file that you want and type your closed captioning in, or you can actually import a Sonorous SCC or an MCC script and attach it to the file. Embed it, send it out, and have it with the file from there on. We've also done integration with SpeedGrade, so now you can import your LUTs and looks files directly from within SpeedGrade. In fact, I can show you the interface if you'd like to see a little of that.
Yeah, please.
So let's just pop over here. Let's go to my effects panel. And once I show the Lumetri looks, oops, deselect that. I can actually come in here and I have a bunch of different options here. I'll just pop this up full screen. So I can see these are all looks that I've created in SpeedGrade, and they just show up directly in Premiere. I have a bunch of different styles as well, and these are just simple drag and drops, so I can do the color grading. So for guys like me who like SpeedGrade, like to be able to make color changes, but really just aren't that good at it, I can take these looks and these LUTs that other people have created for me, and I can just apply them directly to my clips in Premiere. We've also added a new support for bring this back down full screen, added support for display cards and Mercury hardware support. So in previous versions, we were pretty much locked into the NVIDIA cards and the CUDA technology. We've now expanded that to include AMD cards and OpenCL. And we also previously really cut down on the amount of cards that you could use. We had a whitelist that said, okay, you can use this card, but not that card, and this card, but not that card. Now we've opened it up. So as long as your cards meet minimum specifications, you can use it in hardware acceleration in Premiere Pro.
So tell me, you had mentioned that there were some things where you're able to take, like, 3 steps and turn them into one. Can you speak something specific about that?
Sure. So the way that you would do an insert edit in previous versions of Premiere Pro was sort of clunky and convoluted. So if I wanted to do an insert edit, I can show you basically what you would have to do. So I would take a clip somewhere in here. And once I'd actually set an in and out point, to be able to insert this into the timeline, I'd actually have to select the track that I wanted to send it to, and I'd have to also have the source patching. Now, if I didn't have both of those selected, I wouldn't be able to insert the clip. Now, this also counted for audio, so I had to not only indicate which track for video and which track for audio, and make sure that both of those tracks were highlighted and selected before I could do a proper insert or overlay. It got to be really cumbersome, and customers were spending a lot of time making sure they had the right track selected, and it slowed everything down. And that was at least 6 or 7 clicks. So now we've just made it much simpler. You tell it which video track, which source patch that you want it to go to, and same with the audio. Do you insert, and it goes to that track. So we've saved you at least 3 or 4 clicks on that in that way.
And show us one more. Show us one more.
Absolutely. So another one, if I wanted to expand a track, for example, I'd have to very carefully bring my mouse in and then select the line and drag it up. Now I can just put my mouse in here and use the scroll wheel and very quickly resize my tracks. In fact, if I want, I can resize them all at once by holding down the Shift key. This was something that was really simple. Other editors have been, non-linear editors have been able to do this for years, and it was just very difficult to fix this in Premiere. So, for example, if I had some edits made here, well, I should probably turn it off so you can see what it used to look like. You would just have cuts, and you couldn't ever rejoin them. Once you cut the clip, you couldn't rejoin it. But if I actually now show the through edit indicators, I can tell where a clip is actually, it's the same clip all the way through, and I can simply right-click on it and choose rejoin. So let's see here. Join those three.
When you're doing effects and stuff like that, you don't have to add them to 20 places.
Well, and that's exactly how editors were using them. So they wanted to add an effect in a very simple section. They'd add an effect, and then they'd decide, oh, well, actually, that's not exactly what I wanted to do and want to rejoin the clip. And you'd have to delete the first half and drag the back half back over the top. And, again, a lot more things that you had to do. And the repeat frame indicator is another example of one of those things. In previous versions, if you wanted to make sure that you hadn't used the same clip in your timeline more than once, you'd have to go through and watch it very carefully, frame by frame, to make sure that those things didn't reoccur. Now you can just turn on the repeat frame indicator, and anytime you've used a clip more than once in the timeline, it'll show up with a little badge here at the bottom, and you can see that I have this clip now has been used more than once. This clip has been used more than once.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, so when people are interested now, they want to find out more about what's going on here, and what should they do to keep in touch so they can find out about the new version when it's ready to go?
Same as always, just keep an eye on the Adobe website. We update the information there nearly daily. It's always the best place to go for the latest and greatest information.
Thanks so much, Mitch. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
HDSLRshooter's back-to-back coverage of NAB 2013, sponsored by Adobe, Adamus, Asden, Blackmagic Design, Carl Zeiss, Lensbaby, Manios Digital and Film, and Red Rock Micro.